Hey guys, this is Kevin from jazztime.com. Jazztime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online. If you want to know the price of the watch, simply click on the links in the description below. We would greatly appreciate it if you buy a watch from jazztime.com once in a while. So today we're going to be doing a comparison between two Rolex watches. Here on my left we have the newly released Rolex GMT-Master 2, nicknamed the Pepsi. This is the model number 126710. And here on my right we have the Rolex Submariner Hulk that has been out. This is the model number 116610LV. We'll be going over the dial, bezel, case, crown, bracelet, clasp, and we'll talk about the movements towards the end of the video. Alright, so jumping right into the dials, you can see they have pretty much the same similar dial structure in terms of having the maxi dial with the hour markers, circular hour markers in the rectangular 6, 9, and triangular 12 o'clock position hour markers, fashioned in 18 karat white gold to prevent any tarnishing. Both have luminous hour markers, so this white coating on each hour marker is a highly legible chroma-light display with long-lasting blue luminescence, meaning that these watches both glow in the dark for up to 8 hours with a nice blue luminescence. And the same can be said about the hands as well. We have Mercedes hour hands with the minute hand as well, with that same sort of same style, and the seconds hand as well. The only difference here is that the GMT Master 2 of course has the additional GMT hand for the additional tracking of a different time zone, being an additional hour hand. Besides that, the text is relatively the same even at the 12 o'clock position. We have the Rolex text with the Oyster perpetual date name right underneath that, and the Rolex crown logo above the Rolex name itself. 4 lines of text for the Submariner, as it mentions its water resistance, as the Submariner is a diver's watch and the GMT Master 2 is more of a traveler's watch. So we do have differences in polish as well, as you can immediately see from the bracelets. But the Submariner text has the Submariner name with the 1,000 feet or 300 meters indicated right underneath that Submariner name, whereas the GMT Master 2 just has the same superlative chronometer officially certified text right underneath that at the 6 o'clock position. One additional thing to mention is that right underneath the 6 o'clock position we have the Swiss made text right underneath that, but the GMT Master 2 has the updated version of it, where they place the Rolex crown logo in between that Swiss made. As you can see on the older version of it, we just have the simple Swiss made. So small, it's just very small text changes. For the Cyclops, for the date, we have the date window at the 3 o'clock position, exactly the same with the Cyclops lens on the sapphire crystal for magnification and easier viewing of that date. The dial color as well is different, of course. The Hulk having the matching green dial color with the green ceramic bezel, where the Pepsi has the black dial, standard Rolex glossy black dial on sports pieces, to contrast with the Pepsi bezel, which is the blue and red bezel, versus the Hulk's green bezel. One thing to mention is that the Hulk as well has sort of a sunbursty style dial. As you can see, as I kind of tilted against the light here, you can see that it protrudes light in different portions of the dial with a nice contrast. As you can see here, the contrasting shadow from the side here with the highlights from the light sort of help that dial sort of stand out a lot more in the sunlight versus the GMT, which has just a plain glossy black dial. So moving on to the bezel now. As I mentioned, the bezel is what makes the nicknames for the watch. So for the Hulk is just the green on green, so green dial, green bezel, and the Pepsi is just the blue, half red. And these are both actually throwbacks to their own respective vintage style watches. GMT more vintage than the Submariner, however. This one is sort of a recreation of the ones from 1955, where it had the Pepsi style bezel, the red and the blue, with the Jubilee style bracelet. However, the casing is a bit different now, and the Hulk was actually sort of similar to the Kermit that was released around I believe around the early 90s to 2000 to mid 2000s, where it had a black dial similar to this black dial, but still had the green bezel. But now we have the green on green instead. Both watches do sport the bezel as a ceramic bezel, so it is very scratch resistant, and of course has a very, very nice shine to it. As you can see, it just kind of reflects everything around this light box very beautifully. The gradations are going to be different, of course, as a Submariner bezel is used to track elapsed time, versus the GMT-Master 2s is used to track an additional time zone. So we have Arabic numerals for every 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then we have smaller indices from the 12 o'clock position to the 15 o'clock or 3 o'clock position here, with smaller indices and thicker, bolder indices being the tracking of every 5 minutes, so 5, 10 to the 15, then 20 to 25, all the way to the 60. And with the peridot illuminated by a luminous peridot as well at the 12 o'clock position, sitting in a triangular marker. The GMT-Master 2 has that same triangular marker at the 12 o'clock position. Its numerals go all the way to a 24-hour period, with Arabic numerals in even being 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way to the 22, with the odd numerals being indicated by the dots in between each even numeral. And the splitting of the bezel in two additional colors help sort of indicate day and night cycles. So day from 6 to 18, and 18 all the way back to the 6 would be a night cycle. One thing that I'll additionally mention is that the bezel is bidirectional for the GMT-Master 2, as you're only using that to set the additional time zone, whereas the elapsed time setting for the bezel on the Submariner is only unidirectional. As you can see, it does not shift to the right, can only shift to the left. Rather, can only shift counterclockwise and not shift clockwise. As let's just say you want to check the elapsed time, as this is a diver's watch, of how much, let's say you have 10 minutes of oxygen left in your tank, you can set that peridot to the minute hand and track the elapsed time for those 10 minutes. Being able to shift clockwise would be detrimental, as you would get a false reading of the elapsed time. As if you accidentally bumped into something, then it could prove to be a problem later on. So we're going to go ahead and shift that back to the 12 o'clock position. And we're going to move on to the case now. So these two watches both have the same case sizing. It is a 40mm case size. So from my index finger to my thumb here, that's 40mm in diameter. From my index to my thumb, 40mm in diameter. Both super style casings with a little bit larger lugs. Both lugs are satin finish, so sportier style finish on the lugs. Instead of doing a high polish instead, they did a satin finish on the lugs of the watch. Let me show you the profile of the watches now. See, very similar style. It's very similar style profiles, but I think the GMT is just a little bit larger, as it does have additional complication of the GMT hand. Nicely high polish on the sides, matching with the high polish on the bracelet. So I shift that over to the other side now, so you can take a look at the crown side. As you can see from the sides there, you can see the crown protectors are nicely high polished, along with the two sides of the bracelet as well. Both have the Rolex crown logo on the crown itself there. And you can see these 3 little dots right underneath the crown, indicating that both of these watches are using a trip-lock, triple waterproofness system. And the waterproofness system, same style of waterproofness systems, but still, however, having different water resistances. So for the crown functions, as we move on now, the GMT-Master 2 simply unwinds counterclockwise as shown. In the standard position allows you to wind your watch. About 15 to 20 winds is all you need to get the watch started once more. Pulling the crown out to the next position will activate the quick hour jump system. As you can see, the hour hand just quickly jumps to each hour marker very quickly, very easily. 2 revolutions will change the date at the 3 o'clock position. As you can see there, 1 revolution, 2. Very easy to use. And then moving on to the next position will allow you to adjust the hands bidirectionally, with the addition of the GMT hand shifting as well. So you can set the additional GMT hand and then quick hour jump the hour hand to the appropriate time zone that you need. So let's just say I can just set that GMT hand there, and I just want to set additional time zone. I can just shift that hour hand to wherever I like, however I like, and it'll be very easy to do. Always make sure to screw the crown nice and tight in against the case, as you want to keep the watch water resistant, specifically for a GMT-Master 2, 100 meters or 330 feet. For the Hulk Submariner, we're going to go do the same, unwind counterclockwise as shown. Standard position, once again, 15 to 20 winds is all you need to get the watch started once more. Pulling the crown out to the next position will allow you to adjust the date instantaneously. Oops, actually, let me shift this back a little bit, 1 second here. All right, so you'll be able to adjust the date. Apologies. There's a specific portion of the hour hand that has to be past the 9 o'clock position to be able to adjust the date properly. There we go. So you can quickly, very easily set the hour hand, or rather the date, to whatever date you like instantaneously by going clockwise as shown, very instantaneously. And then pulling out the crown to the final position, again stops that second hand for precise time setting, and then you can set the hands however you like. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back at the 10 and 2, and then always make sure to screw the crown nice and tight in against the case, as you want to keep the watch water resistant. Specifically for the Submariner, as it is a diver's watch, you're looking at 100 meters or 330 feet. All right, now let me show you. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the bracelets. So the bracelets of the watch, we have 2 different style bracelets. The GMT-Master 2 has the Jubilee style bracelet, which is sort of newer to sort of a newer idea concept, but so not really. In 1955, the older style, the GMT back then had the Jubilee style bracelet. They decided to modernize it and bring it back to the newer style GMT. So the GMT now has a Jubilee style bracelet. You cannot get in the Oyster style bracelet, as you see on the Submariner here. That's a 3-piece links versus the 5-piece links. Satin finish on the outer of the links, high polish down the center with on the Pepsi, but satin finish down on the center of the Submariner. So the Pepsi, if you really like the look of the sports piece with the Jubilee, the GMT-Master 2 line is the only way to go, because it's currently the only sports line that has a Jubilee style bracelet at the moment. Nicely high polish on the clasp itself, has the safety folding. Both of them have the safety folding Oyster clasp. The Submariner's is a little bit larger. There's a specific reason for that. We'll get into that here in a second. But you can see nice high polish on the center on the clasp for the GMT. Satin finish all the way throughout for the Submariner Hulk. One interesting to note is that for the Jubilee style bracelet, even on the previous models like the Datejust, it used to have a full Jubilee, so the Jubilee would go extend throughout the whole watch and not have this Oyster style clasp. But now they've opted to sort of merge the two, keep the Oyster style clasp with the addition of the Jubilee style bracelet. So now you have the reliability of the safety folding Oyster clasp with the beautiful look of the Jubilee style bracelet. Okay, so moving on to the clasp. Now the clasps are, as I mentioned, pretty much the same. They're the folding Oyster clasp. As you open up as so, the hinge pops off the folding Oyster and opens up to reveal these nicely high polished clasp blades. Pretty much similar, very similar in look, with the Rolex name embossed on there on the high polish. However, I do want to get into the clasp functions, as I did mention that there is a reason why the Submariners is larger. So with the GMT-Master 2s, you can see that there's a little indentation behind, or rather in front of the bracelet on the clasp, and there's one behind as well. And that's called the Easy Extension Link, and that allows you to adjust the bracelet just 5 millimeters forward or backwards, such as a hot summer day. You can set it a little bit more open, so you give your wrist a little more breathing room, and you'll be able to do it vice versa on colder days as well. So very small but very simple adjustment feature, whereas the Submariners is larger for the reason of having the glide lock extension link. So what the glide lock extension link is you can see, so I move it here. You can see the sort of riveted edges right behind that clasp there, and each riveted edge is about 2 millimeters for up to a total of 20 millimeters in adjustment. And you can see just by pulling the bracelet at a 45-degree angle, you'll just be able to adjust the glide lock just by simply sliding inwards and outwards. So very interesting, very unique feature. And again, that's made with divers in mind. So if they have wetsuits, you know, that add that little extra millimeter of adjustment onto their wrist, you'll be able to adjust for that and comfortably be able to put on their wetsuit without any hassle of having to adjust the bracelet features. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the movement. So both of these, of course, both run in-house made Rolex movements. One of them is more updated, of course. It's going to be the Pepsi is going to be the more updated one, as it just recently came out. The Pepsi runs a 3285 movement, which is an in-house made movement, GMT functions. So the addition of the hour hand, the jumping of the hour hand as well. And then it has the precision of -2 + 2 seconds a day. Actually, they both have that same precision. But where the differences are is that they've actually updated specific parts in the 3285. The Hulk runs a 3135 movement, so it is an older style movement, but as one that has been tried and tested for over 20 plus years. So you know it is a very reliable movement, regardless of it being not updated or not. But the thing that they both do have is the paramagnetic blue parachrome hairspring, which has resistance against magnetism. But for the shock absorbers, the Rolex Submariner has the not the Paraflex, but the KIF shock absorbers, which is the not in-house made, but just the industry standard shock absorbers, while the Pepsi runs the Paraflex shock absorbers, which is our in-house made shock absorbers by Rolex, which they claim absorbs 50% more shocks than that KIF's shock absorbers. Not only that, it has the chronogy escapement instead. So the chronogy escapement is a nickel phosphorus made skeletonized escapement wheel that has a reduction of inertia. So the reduction in inertia helps keep that precise timekeeping of the -2 + 2 seconds a day, but also has additional resistance against magnetism paired with that parachrome hairspring. Resistance against magnetism, because it's made out of that nickel phosphorus. The Rolex just has the industry standard escapement as well. So mainly just a change from, instead of using other people's parts, Rolex is trying to push this for this agenda of just making everything in-house and updated to their standards. So very nice of them. And the power reserve is now different now. So we have a 70-hour power reserve on the Pepsi versus the 48-hour power reserve on the Submariner. So you're looking at almost 28 more additional hours of power reserve. So you can put the Pepsi down on a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Monday afternoon, will be keeping time just fine. Whereas you'd be putting down the Submariner on a Friday evening and picking it back up on the Sunday afternoon, and it'll be keeping time just fine. All right, so now let me actually go ahead and show you these watches on my wrist now. So we'll start with the Pepsi first. So we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Folding Oyster, bam, bam, nice and easy. Beautiful Jubilee bracelet. The uniqueness of the Pepsi style bezel, that blue and red with the standard Rolex black glossy dial, and then just a nice little contrast of the red additional GMT hand. You can see it doesn't sit too high off the wrist, will fit in a suit cuffs, dress cuffs very nicely. Now the Hulk, same thing. Find that folding Oyster. Okay, close that up. Shift that over, and there we are. So you can see, also a very unique style watch. We have the green on green, so green dial, green bezel. It's just the standard Oyster style bracelet with the satin finish throughout, but you still have nice touches of high polish on the sides of the casing, add a little shine to it, and just that green dial is just such a very, very unique dial. Alright, so if you're interested in either watches for the lowest possible price, check out our website at jazztime.com. Where the lowest price is guaranteed, we offer a 1-year warranty. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.